The footage of the RIC FLAIR restaurant incident has emerged. Elsewhere, a WWE superstar has made their in-ring return, and we have an update on plans for one of WWE's new championships. It's all in the wrestling news. Hello everybody, Jack and Sam here on this fine Wednesday morning with some wrestling news. Now, over the past weekend, RIC FLAIR was involved in an incident.
Yes.
At a Paisano's, I hope I'm saying that.
Paisano's location in Gainesville, Florida.
Right, thank you. Is that like a chain?
I only know because I've heard it mentioned in TV shows.
Okay.
Is it nice? Is it like fine dining? Ric Flair's there.
Let us know in the comments below. But Ric Flair had taken issue with an employee. Flair claimed that he was taking too long in the bathroom. It led to an argument. Ric Flair was saying things like he'd never been treated so rudely and stuff. He then posted on social media, anyone who wants to enjoy a relaxing time in Gainesville at a nice restaurant, never visit this place. Woo!
Just a big woo at the end, of course.
But then footage has emerged on TikTok of the incident itself, which potentially paints things in a different light. Two sides to every story and all that.
Yeah, so Flair is what seems to be the Paisanos complaining about the way he's being treated at the bar. You see, he's sort of surrounded by staff. He's insulting the person he's talking to multiple times, but again, as Jack said, he's complaining about the way he's being treated by the restaurant staff. At one point, the person he's arguing with, he refers to them as Nicholas Dickhead.
Nicholas Dickhead is the most Tom Campbell name for like an invented wrestler I've ever heard.
Managed to jump into Ric Flair somehow.
I don't know, because I can just imagine Tom going like, oh, it's so-and-so from NXT, it's Spoopy Whoopy, it's Nicholas Dickhead. It's so... Maybe Ric Flair's a big fan of the classic Raw review, I don't know.
But he also proceeded to offer the waitress that served him a $1,000 tip before telling the kitchen manager to kiss his ass.
I saw some people interpret it as he was offering the tip to get them to tell the other employee to kiss his ass or something.
So
I don't know.
Here's $1,000. You tell him to kiss my ass.
And then he offered the manager out and said, come back from behind the bar like a man.
And then it gets really awkward because the manager's obviously like, no.
Yeah.
And then Flair's like, all right. And because it's Ric Flair, he's going in and he's starting to kind of be like, come on then, let's go outside. And then a guy at the end of the bar kind of goes, I'll go outside with you. And actually physically gets up. It's like, all right.
He's like, I've got nothing to lose. I'm a patron. I've seen jokes already to the effect of that guy takes off his mask and it's staying and stuff like that. But yeah, it's an incident where...
you don't like to see it.
No, you don't like to see it. Flair's obviously had his struggles in the past, and his demons, and it seems like a bit of a continuation of that. Or it could just be an event where either way you look at it, it seems like Flair, at least from this footage, is being the unreasonable one in the situation.
It's just a regrettable situation to be in, no matter who you are in life, I guess. You know, the sort of thing that happens to a lot of people, regardless of whether they're Ric Flair or, just an average person on the street. It doesn't make it, something to point and kind of be all schadenfreude about. It's just sort of sad, isn't it?
It is quite sad, yeah. It's a shame. Obviously, I think fair play to the staff for handling it well. They did really well.
Yeah, Jesus, it could have gone way, way different if the staff hadn't been quite as reserved.
Yeah, and I think as well, I'm quite glad that the footage came out, because whenever this sort of thing happens...
It's all rumour and hearsay, innit?
I think people would have been hammering that chain or that restaurant, and it looks as though they actually handled it as well as they could have done, at least from the footage we've seen anyway. Now on to in-ring news, because on last night's NXT, we saw Wes Lee back in action for the first time in a long time. It was an emotional comeback match for Wes Lee. He'd been out with a very serious injury, was expected to be out for longer than he turned out to be. In fact, some news sources were saying that it could have been the end of his career.
Apparently, at one point, he was actually considering just hanging up the boots. Like, that was that serious.
But he was back facing Josh Briggs and picking up the victory as well. Then Briggs and Ivar started brawling after the match. They've all been involved in the North American title scene, and he took them both out with a dive and stood tall. And all of this was being watched by the current North American champion, Obafemi. It's going to lead to a match between those two. It's going to be, I think, really good.
Yeah, I think we've got a little bit of shenanigans we can go through to get there, but ultimately that's where we're heading. But I think, it should be a hell of a really big standout. Of a match.
One thing I like about NXT, it's got its flaws, which we talk about on the podcast every week. But one thing that the NXT crowd do really well is they've got long memories and they don't forget their favorites.
Yeah.
When Wes Lee came back last week or the week before, it was a big emotional moment. Everybody, the pot was huge. He came out from the crowd. Everyone's chanting "Welcome back." Everyone was just very delighted to see him back. It was quite an emotional moment in NXT, as far as NXT goes, with all the wacky storylines and stuff. So I think it's great to see him back. It's great to see him in the ring. and still looking really good as well, because he's all about speed and agility and stuff.
Yeah, and obviously with such a severe, serious injury, you always worry, like, should the talent be pushing themselves that hard still? And ultimately, if they get clearance, then hell yeah. And it looks like this is going to be absolutely no slow up here from Wesley.
Yeah, hopefully so. Yeah. I'd be interested to see whether he beats Obafemi. I feel like Obafemi's been booked so dominantly in his short time in NXT. He's already a champion, that I don't think that he will lose the belt to Wesley, but it's one of those matches where I think it's a bit of a win-win.
Either way,
I don't mind which way it goes, because Wesley's got a great story coming back.
Yeah.
Obafemi, his continued reign would be a great story as well.
Yeah, I love NXT, man.
Oh yeah, it's so good sometimes. In sort of bad news, but it seems like something that could be recovered from quite quickly, hopefully. It was revealed on last night's NXT by Jasmine Nix that her ally, Jacy Jayne, suffered a broken nose during a match with Thea Hale last week, which was very apparent because she was bleeding everywhere at the time. She did really well to carry on and finish the match.
Hale kicked out during the pinfall and just caught her, right?
Right, that's what they're saying happened. And the blood was there for the rest of the match. It was even there during the post-match angle, and it was one of those instances where Jacy Jayne, it heightened the drama, and she managed to stay in character and like carry out her bit of the post-match angle with this weird stare down with Fallon Henley. I thought it was really, really good.
Which is, whenever that happens in wrestling, is always a really powerful moment, right?
Yeah. And it was then revealed that Jacy recently underwent surgery to repair her broken nose, with photos post-surgery shown on last night's NXT. As a result, Jasmine Nix is calling for Thea Hale's suspension and promised to get revenge on Jacy Jayne's behalf. I've made that sound like she's the babyface there. She's going to do it for a friend.
She's going to do it, yeah.
Obviously, it's kind of disingenuous. Jasmine Nix is the heel.
Yeah.
Thea Hale's part of Chase U. She's the babyface.
She's being a bit of a Karen about this. She's going to go to the boss and she's going to try and use everything in her power.
Yeah. To get her suspended.
Yeah.
In a Ric Flair sort of way.
Like maybe she'll offer somebody $1,000 to tell them to kiss her.
But it looks basically, the big takeaway I got from this is that it's also a continuation of the feud between Thea Hale and Jacy Jayne.
Yeah.
Thea had that victory over Jacy the other week, and it seemed like maybe this was finally the end of their very personal, historic feud, is in terms of they've got history together. I'm not saying it's Austin Rock.
Yeah.
But
it's been the big standout for them both.
Right. Yeah. And this seems to imply that that's very much going to continue with Jasmine, who's like Jacy's sidekick, getting involved. Whereas I thought it was going to lead to Thea versus Fallon, because Fallon turned on Thea last week.
Well, it maybe still could, but sometimes you do need an eternal enemy.
Yeah, true.
Like sometimes you just need that mortal nemesis for a while.
And it's like Raven Tommy Dreamer, perhaps. And finally, let's talk about news regarding WWE's newest championship. Last night, more details were shared of how NXT will crown their first ever women's North American champion. Highlights throughout the night were shown of the NXT Combine. They've gone the sports route with this one.
I do enjoy the Combine route.
You're an NFL fan.
Yeah.
The Combine.
It's just excessive. Look how fast this guy can run. Look how high this guy can jump. I'm a big fan of Combine stuff. It's the simple competition. It's like sports day.
Yeah, that's what I say. Now, since Bianca Belair graduated from NXT, seems like maybe the women's Combines have been blown open a bit more, because didn't she used to just apparently win everything in the Combine?
Yeah, because you'd see there were all the ridiculous feats of strength in and around the Combine. Sometimes where they'd have a match themed where you'd have to pick up Otis and walk when they did that where there'd just be all sorts of obstacles and crazy stuff to lift and do. But I think Bianca was obviously one of the strongest stars.
They mentioned she would finish top of multiple categories,
without trying.
Oh yeah,
but yeah.
But they've actually incorporated this into the storyline to crown the inaugural Women's North American Champion. So there were 20 superstars, all competing in events, and then the top 12 performers have then qualified for a series of singles matches to progress in the North American Championship. No, sorry, it's not a tournament. There's all these singles matches leading to a ladder match, a 6-woman ladder match to decide the inaugural champion.
Right.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's all good.
Well, the competitors, the final 12, are Ren Sinclair, Tatum Paxley, Kehlani Jordan, Izzy Dame, Ivy Nile, Lash Legend, Fallon Henley, Michin, Brynlee Reese, Jada Parker, Tia Hale, and Sol Ruka.
This is very interesting because out of those 12, there's quite a few actually that you could see becoming the first Women's North American Champion.
Yeah.
I would suggest just looking at this, Fallon Henley's just turned heel, so she's got the momentum there. Missions from the main roster. I don't think she will, just because she's coming down.
She will, but at the same time, she's somebody who could carry the belt as like a good, decent first champion, I guess. Like a big sort of giant to be slain.
Yes, that's very true. Tatum Paxley recently she was in the triple threat for the NXT Women's Championship, so she's definitely stepped up in the pecking order of the roster, so she could possibly win. There's quite a lot of options here. Thea Hale would be amazing for the U, obviously.
Give it to Ivy Nile. She's a hard ass.
Ivy Nile's a great shout as well, because she's got that air of, again, stepping down from the main roster, but she's got that air of legitimacy about her and everything like that. I think with a mid-tier title like this, they did it with the men's belt, and the first winner was Adam Cole. It always seems quite tailor-made for a heel, first of all.
Right.
But not that that's a hard and fast rule or anything. But I could say, if I had to make an official prediction, I'll go with... Oh, no. I'll go with Fallon Henley just because of the heel.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, there you go.
Jack the Jobber confirming Fallon Henley has won the NXT Women's North American Championship.
Absolutely. There's more wrestling news later on today as well. Hopefully we'll be back with another news video. If not, check out cultaholic.com to keep abreast of all the wrestling news too. Don't laugh at that word. That's not that
you know what? It's a very formal way to kind of...
yes, it is. Have you got anything you can reveal that you're working on, or is it all just stuff in the background?
It's Marble Mania, not this week, but next week, Thursday night, 6 p.m. It was going to be this week, but there's just so much prep to do. We're going to push it back another week, and it's going to be huge. Join in.
Myself and Owen, actually I haven't checked with him, but I assume we're streaming tonight on twitch.tv/cultaholic from 6 p.m. UK time. We're the Swans, the mighty Swans. Up the Swans. We're top of the league at the minute, looking for promotion.
Nice.
It's going really well, obviously.
Who are your biggest rivals?
Oh, what are they called again? We do have rivals, and I hate them.
You got rivals?
I can't remember the name. I think they're called like Comey FC or something like that.
We'll have to tune in to find out.
Comey, Komi, Comey FC.
Comey FC.
I think we might play them this week. Actually, it might be the derby.
Oh, the derby.
They're not doing as well as us, though. It should be a cakewalk for the Swans. Yeah, we are. Thanks very much for watching. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I've been Jack. This has been Sam, and we'll see you very soon.